Hello and welcome to this News 9 special. I'm Jonathan. The last of the 4 illegal apartment complexes in Maradu in Kochi was razed, marking the completion of the demolition drive ordered by the Supreme Court. Well, Bengaluru may soon witness its own Maradu, with many high-rises having violated the NGT rules. In this special episode, we bring to you several case studies from the city and how to avoid purchasing flats in encroached areas. Take a look. India's first luxurious demolition. Luxury apartments razed in Kochi. Series of controlled blasts demolish massive structures. Within seconds, 4 illegal buildings in Kochi were reduced to dust over the weekend. H2O, Holy Faith and the Twin Towers of Alpha Serene were razed on Saturday. Jane Coral Cove, the largest of the 4 illegal apartment complexes in Maradu, was reduced to rubble at 11:03 a.m. on Sunday. Why were the high-rise buildings razed? In May 2019, the Supreme Court ordered the demolition of 4 luxury apartment buildings in Kochi's Maradu municipality, Alpha Serene, Golden Kayaloram, H2O Holy Faith and Jane's Coral Cove for flouting coastal regulation zone norms.
A prior approval or permissions have to obtain by a competent authority called Kerala Coastal Zone Regulatory Authority. And in Maradu constructions, they did not obtain the prior permission from that authority despite the law being in force at the relevant time. The norms require no construction project which can be sanctioned from the HTL, that is the high tide line, which are applicable for the coastal regions in the country. The matter reached Supreme Court, and Supreme Court held the project was within that buffer zone under the CRZ norms, what is called as coastal regulatory zone norms. And Supreme Court ordered removal of the entire apartment complex.
While these were the direction given to the Maradu municipality by the Supreme Court, there could be a similar situation brewing in Bengaluru as well in the coming days. Maradu-like demolition likely in Bengaluru? Apartments around Kaikondrahalli to be razed soon. Several lakes in the city have been reduced in its size by a huge margin due to urbanization and the encroachments. Here are the norms laid down by the Mahanagara Palike in Bengaluru.
The CRZ type of equivalent in Bengaluru is the buffer zone regulations, which is a prohibited area under the local laws now. So the laws state that 30 meters from the edge of the lake, any given lake or water body in Bangalore, so that is a prohibited zone. It is a no development zone, which means no projects can be sanctioned, no concretization and compacting in that 30-meter buffer zone area is permissible because it tampers and alters the biodiversity and local ecology.
One such lake is that on the Sajjapur Road, Kaikondrahalli Lake. Kaikondrahalli Lake is popular with nature lovers. It is a place for relaxation and a hot spot for photography and nature walks. The lake was one of the most beautiful water bodies in Bengaluru, but now the water body presents a totally different picture. The size of the lake has shrunk considerably. One look at the lake will tell the extent of damage to the flora and fauna, with sewage being let into the lake. Not just that, builders are flouting rules laid down by the NGT in the western, southern and eastern side of the lake. To the west of Kaikondrahalli Lake is the Watermark Project, one of the largest projects taken up in the area. The Watermark Project is on the western side of the Kaikondrahalli Lake. The project is one of the largest in Vattur catchment area. The project houses over 500 families. On January 1st, 2018, then BBMP Commissioner Manjunath Prasad cancelled the plan and occupancy certificate for the Watermark Project. But the construction project is functional and continues to flout rules and pollute the lake.
Project is raised within the 30-meter buffer zone. Permissions were sanctioned in 30-meter buffer zone. Matter reached NGT. Officers were summoned. Cancellation order was passed by BBMP, withdrawing the building plan, building license. Now the issue is before the bench of the Supreme Court. A scenario in the event of building plan being cancelled, upheld by the Supreme Court, it will lead to a Maradu scenario in Bengaluru, order for removal of the construction.
To the east of the lake is the new Arc project, a mixed-use project that violates multiple municipal and environmental laws. The new Arc project is on the eastern side of the Kaikondrahalli Lake. It is a mixed-use project that has encroached the stormwater drains leading to the lake. The project houses 71 families. In this case as well, then BBMP Commissioner Manjunath Prasad had cancelled the consent to operate as the builders had not taken prior permission. Prasad had even pointed out that the project had been completed even though it was not sanctioned by the BBMP.
Buffer zones and the nala connecting to the Kaikondrahalli Lake itself are removed, converted into an access road. Matter is now sub judice before the Honorable Supreme Court. Cases pending connected to that in High Court are also summoned by the Supreme Court. And again, in that case, BBMP has cancelled the building plan owing to large-scale violation, and NGT committee being constituted to furnish a factual report.
Lastly, a new project, Godrej Reflections, is being taken up at the southern side on 12.5 acres of land. The Godrej Reflections project is on the southern side of the Kaikondrahalli Lake. The project is at foundation state. The project to house over 600 families.
A mammoth structure which is being permitted, which is absolutely incorrect, in breach of various environmental norms and municipal laws. Matter is again pending before NGT. A 5-member committee is constituted to furnish a report in that matter. That is abutting on the southern side of the lake. So authorities are required to take action as part of protection of environmental norms and upholding the rule of law.
While all the projects surrounding the lake are flouting environmental norms, in the December 18th, 2019 order passed by the NGT says that any type of encroachment should be cleared at any cost.
Directions are issued to remove encroachments of all kinds by using force wherever necessary, and in case if there is an injunction by any court, they have said it is erroneous and they must move the higher forum and they must remove all types of encroachment. So basically there is nothing which prevents them from taking action in this entire catchment area of not merely Kaikondrahalli Lake, the catchment of Vattur, catchment of Bellendur, catchment of Agra Lake. NGT has specifically directed action must be taken against erring officers, one, and the action taken must be made part of the service records in their ACRs.
With such violations being flagged, the question is, how does one obtain permission to construct high-rise buildings? 2 stages to obtain permission for construction of high-rises. It is said that there are 2 stages to obtain permission to erect tall buildings in the city. The first stage is the pre-construction phase.
If a high-rise project, if is having an area of 20,000 square meters and above, then you have to start with what is called as a prior environment clearance from the department called SIA, and then you have to take consent to establish from the Pollution Control Board. Then you go for NOCs from BSNL, Airport Authority of India for height clearance, then BESCOM, BWSSB, and Fire Services Department. So you have to take these 8 permissions and go and apply before the Bengaluru Municipal Corporation, that is BBMP, and obtain building plan. And then based on the building plan, you can start commencement of the constructions.
After construction, the authorities will have to check for safety. and then issue the occupancy certificate.
Then upon completion, you have to go to the BBMP and obtain what is called as completion certificate. And then again go to the Pollution Control Board and obtain consent to commission or operate the project. It is called a CFO. Thereafter, enclosing these permissions, you have to go to the BBMP and obtain occupancy certificate. And only then one can start the project, one can give occupancy, and the project can be commissioned.
But most of these norms are ignored by the authorities, or they are hand in glove with the builders, thus being guilty of environmental degradation.
Statutory duty cast upon the respective authorities to do a periodic inspection and ensure there is compliance with all their conditions, which invariably is not done by the authorities, which has led to this deplorable state of affairs and a grim environmental situation in city of Bengaluru. We'll have to ascertain whether these permissions are in compliance with the laws, that is the Environment Protection Act, Water Act, these kind of things, which normally is supposed to be done by authority. But many a times, as we know, either the constructions are raised without these permissions or the constructions issued are illegal.
Is demolition only solution for encroachments?
For constructions which are already completed, which are illegal, which are in violation of these permissions, now it is a case where remedial action has to be done only by removing the structures. So far as the fresh projects where permissions are being issued, authorities must be proactive, they must take adequate action instead of colluding with the project proponents or the violators.
How can intending home buyers identify illegalities? Most of the apartments these days are priced exorbitantly. As they say, losing something after owning it is much worse than never having it at all. So how can people ensure they don't get tricked into buying a flat in an illegal apartment?
Do adequate due diligence, not just for ownership or title, but for construction purposes, whether it is compliance with environmental laws and all the municipal laws. That due diligence, the adequate due diligence, is the only savior to ensure builders are investing in an absolutely legally compliant project.
On one hand, most of the buildings in Bengaluru are under NGT's radar at this point of time. The only way to say home buyers who sink their life savings is by ensuring that encroachments stop. The building demolition in Kochi has come as a rude shock to homeowners across the country. It needs to be seen if it will serve as an example to other buildings that have flouted rules all over the nation. Let's hope that the demolition has set precedents. We told you about the elaborate procedures that a builder has to meet in order to construct an apartment and the ways in which buyers can check for encroachment before investing in the property. Well, we hope this has helped you in identifying your safe and dream home. Suraj Suresh for News 9, Bengaluru.